Hello, how you doing? So three topics for today are going to be Minnesota and Sund, Kelsey and Swift, and Hobbits and Gandalf. So basically, there's some bad stuff that happened today. There's a mass shooting. A trans individual basically shot up a church, killed two kids, injured a bunch more. Let's see what's going to happen. A lot of these mass shooters have been trans. Now, this isn't condemning the whole group, usually because you can't do that. But it does seem like they're putting somebody who's already mentally unstable. The entire hormone regime may not have the best results. Like you're basically reworking their entire brain works, and that has consequences. There's a reason why trans people have 50% suicide rate. They basically are putting themselves so much hormones. People are like, "Oh, it makes them feel so much better." Yeah, changing anything in your life makes you feel better. If you make a big change, doesn't matter if you're finding God or changing your gender, you're gonna have a big like excitement euphoria state. That's how it works. Long term, it doesn't work out that well. Um, so conservatives were absolutely right on the trans issue. They're wrong on the gay issue. They're right on this one, and that's going to offend some people, but it's just the truth. Okay. I'm not calling for anything bad against any of these people. Like whatever you got to do, you got to do. But let's not pretend that it's like a sensible life path. Okay, it's not. It's and I'm against any kind of like personal like anything that affects you a ton. Like if you do a tattoo or go on antipsychotic medication or anything else, there are consequences to putting medicines in your body. We all know this. And actually, I can say that out loud now, which is nice. Other thing that happened is Scotland basically, there's a film of the immigrant guy following a Valentine girls. They take out knives. He's like, "Oh, show the knife, show the knife." And then somehow the guy filming little girls in a park isn't punished. No, the people who are punished is the girl saying, "Get away from me." Really? Is that really the take you want to do left? Is that really the argument you want to make? That little girls protecting themselves is at fault for a creepy guy filming them with a camera? Really? Is that really the argument you want to make? Because you can just go fuck yourself with all the stuff about, oh, I want to be like caring about women's rights and stuff. No, it's obviously not true. And the only thing that's really ridiculous about this story is that, well, one, the cops' response is two, like, you need to defend yourself. Like, come on, people. You're Scotland. Have some balls. This world girl has more balls than all of you put together. And again, conservatives are right about what would happen when you let a particular demographic into your country. This is what happens. They take over, they tell you what you can do, they start harassing your little girls. Like, this is a big offense. This isn't a small offense. Like, this is a really, really big offense. Like, it's one thing to, like, get in a fight with somebody and something happens and okay, I get that. Gang violence, okay, you're trying to sell your drugs and you want your territory to have be able to sell to people and not the other person's territory. That all makes sense. The fact that like 100,000 underage girls were raped, not sexually assaulted, raped by these grooming gangs, that is the worst possible thing you could ever do to another people outside of committing genocide against them. That is literally the worst possible thing you could do. And then to say, "Oh, we're gonna attack the girls who are protecting themselves?" Really, that's the argument you're going with, lefties. This is why everybody hates you. It's not because you're smart. It's not because you're like sophisticated. It's because you're stupid. You're so goddamn stupid. And this is why nobody I want there to be a left wing party or left wing parties that represent working class ideas, protecting people, protect the poor. This ain't it. This is stupid. These two events are both caused by your shenanigans with all this social bullshit that he's trying to carry out. No, we. This is why nobody trusts you when you talk about like billionaires and millionaires of tax rates because you're supporting this stuff with your platforms. Knock it off. Be a serious party. Stop being ridiculous fools. Just saying. Now, one person who isn't a fool and who's actually really, really smart is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But let's be honest, is Travis Kelce the one pushing this relationship forward? No, it never is. I know a bunch of married people. It's always the woman who is pushing the man, and I think that's doubly the case now. Like, I'm sorry, Taylor Swift. I don't think her music's that great, but from a business person standpoint, top tier. She is insane how much influence she has as an artist. Travis Kelce is a football player, which yeah, impressive physically, but Taylor Swift, that's an intelligence. So I think there's a bunch of things going into this. One, she probably actually does really like Travis Kelce. They obviously love each other. I mean, fair, okay. But also the timing is really, really nice. Basically, the whole country, the whole world, basically, is moving. The whole Western world is moving in a socially conservative direction. So what does Taylor Swift do? Gets married. And this is actually a really good thing. It sounds like I'm calling her cynical and like controlling and everything, and she is. But this is going to inspire so many millennial women to settle down. This is a just as a meme having Taylor Swift get married. Um, millennial women worship this woman. She is a goddess to them, and the fact that she's going to get married is going to push so many of them to follow suit. So she's both following the trends and also is going to become a trend in her own right. I've been talking about how like okay, men are going conservative. That's not enough to win the culture war. It's not. Men don't determine men don't determine what civilizations win. Women decide that. Men fight battles. Women fight generational wars. This is something that could push a lot of women to be more socially conservative, but more traditional. Not, I hate using that word, but it's going to lead more and more to women to get married. I guarantee you that. If I was anybody who was investing in stuff, I'd invest in a marriage company, some company that does that kind of thing. I really hope it works out. People are like, "Oh, it's not going to work out," and I'm like, I really think Taylor Swift is somebody who isn't going to make sure that whatever she wants happens. I don't see it helping her brand to. I think this is the logical next step for a business. Might be a cold marriage. I don't know. Who knows? It's impossible to tell, really. Like people have, it is impossible to tell whether a marriage is going to work out well or badly. They're both highly successful, top their fields, um, and I think they're all kind of past that stage where they're trying to have fun. Now, this is business to some extent, and it's going to be more impactful than you think with regards to how women approach the courtship process. Because they're going to want to be like Taylor. They're going to want to be married and do what they're doing. People follow groups. I think there's a line Taylor Man says, "Women want what other women want." Well, Taylor Swift is what other women want. They want to be Taylor Swift. She is a goddess to them. She is a paragon of what the millennial woman is. And even though the left has a lot of crazy people, they see where the trends are going. If you're a smart person on the left, you're 100% going to be going in a more family oriented direction than you were before. Just because you got to follow the trends, right? That's what's going to happen. So congratulations, I wish them the best. Their wedding is going to be newsworthy. I can tell you that right now. Um, and we'll see how things go with that. I don't think it affects the guys. The guys are completely unaffected by this, except by virtue of how their girlfriends uh, pressured them about it. But largely, guys are like, okay, how is this gonna screw me? I think a lot of guys are in that trend where they're like, this is gonna screw me, but how? Which is fair given how Taylor Swift fans can be. But still, congratulations. I'm not sure why you're doing it, but it's a good move. I hope it's for good reasons, and even if it's for bad reasons can lead to good ends. That's what I was going to say. The Hobbits and Gandalf. So I've been rereading the Lord of the Rings trilogy over the past few weeks. Basically, it's kind of like the Bible. Like, if I was in charge of the Bible, I would add Lord of the Rings to it because it just hits so deep into what it means to be a man on a mission against evil and fighting against evil within oneself, and the virtue of screwing around. So that's what's really fun about Lord of the Rings as a source of morality is that the hobbits are not moral agents. They're not stoics, right? They like eating, they like sleeping, they like drinking, they like having a good time. They goof off a lot. And you might say, oh, that's just a hobbit thing. Okay, fair enough. Then you compare Gandalf and Saruman. Saruman has all these mechanical devices, all these great things that he wants to do. Turns evil, betrays everybody. Gandalf basically makes fake fireworks and just goes around hanging out with different people. Like basically a pothead. There's no pot, but he's like smoking his pipe weed, hanging out in the Shire with some little people, making some friends, doing these different kinds of things. He's just kind of dicking around, and he is the paragon of virtue, not Saruman, the one who has a castle and a kingdom and a leadership position. No, Gandalf's the one who is the one to admire, and you see this throughout the Lord of the Rings' work. Like Tom Bombadil, pure good, just dicking around, walking, getting flowers for Goldberry, just like generally speaking, just vibing and doing his thing, whatever it might be. And you even see this with like the effects of the ring of power. Like every other person seems to just turn evil when they have it. And Smeagol has it for 500 years. Doesn't turn evil. Just well, he turns evil. He was already evil, but he just has such small like desires. He's like, oh, if I'm going to become the ring lord, well, I'm going to have a fish, 3 fish a day. And it's like that's the height of his ambition. When they try to get Sam to kind of turn to the dark side, they're like, you could make a slightly better garden, and Sam's like, yeah, I'm good. It's not even clear what photo he wants from the ring. Like he wants to put it on. Okay, that's it. It's like the hobbits are as a people. They're basically elves too. So you have the hobbits and you have the elves. And people are like, oh, the elves are elves. Hobbits are or how hobbits are not elves. No, they're two different perceptions of elves. So there's two perceptions of elves. There's the high, like Nordic version, where they're the high elves, like Thor, Loki, those type. There's also the fairy people. There's also the fairies who like are the brutal elves, kind of. That's what the hobbits are. The hobbits are like the real people who the random elf people, creatures are based on in this story. And there's something to be said for just dicking around, Not really sure where I'm going with this, but the point I'm getting at is that in the Tolkien-esque worldview, being successful, like all these people are influencers and stuff, you can become more powerful, you can be strong, you have other women above you, you can do this, you can do that. And that is not what Tolkien represents. Frodo's not on a grind set. Boba's not on a grind set. They're not working 80-hour days and working their butts off. No, they're just fooling around. They get to it's a really great scene when they get to Isengard after the that battle of Helm's Deep. I mean Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin just having lunch. It's like they're just hanging out. Nothing really going on. Just kind of chilling. And all the bad characters are the characters with all these designs or fears or fretting or all these different things. They're all like scared of worrying about something. Even Sauron is the most powerful creature in the whole world in the Third Age. He's stressed out about this ring. He's like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? What's there? What's gonna happen there?" He's not enjoying anything. Frodo and Sam are just like, "Oh, let's have potatoes." Very sure. So it's definitely a counterpoint to the prevailing ideology right now in the debate, where I think there's too much of a pressure on the right now to be like work hard, responsibility, duty. Well, you do all that stuff, you end up addicted to drugs like Jordan Peterson. Sorry, I don't want to call him out like that, but you make yourself a leader with the right, people are going to call you out on it. Um, the better attitude is actually the one of Michael Knowles, where he's like, "I have a cigar company, I have a whiskey company." That's real conservatism right there. You just kind of not stressing about stuff. Anyway, that's all I got. Cheers.